Whoa, holy crap, is this not a top 5 video? Let's go, I love making them, but 7 in a row was just a tad much, don't you say? Well, anyways, welcome to my first ever gaming video. Also, while you may see me, myself, Skelly, in the intro and outro, you will not see me during the gameplay itself. And if you're a die-hard fan, like those exist, you may be upset. But also, I feel like during the gameplay segment, the gameplay itself needs to be enunciated, and not distracted by me. So, yeah, you will mainly just hear my voice. But also, there are a few rules for this series and challenge run. First, no spells, level grinding, and no hitting without a weapon. Also, I can only wear unique armor and use unique weapons. Also, when it comes to alternative armors, I can only use them if it's the ones rewarded in quests and not ones crafted or found. So, hope that makes sense. And also, I use 3 Creation Club mods in this video, which are Epic Vanilla Armor Retexture, Epic Vanilla Weapon Retexture, and finally Sky UI 5. So before we get into it, YouTube tells me that there are around 41% of my viewers who are subscribed. So make sure you like and subscribe the video. And let's get into it. As all good Skyrim stories starts, my character, which I later came to name uniquest, woke up on a cart with Ralof and Ulfric Stormcloak and finally Loki of Rearranged on our way to Helgen to get our heads chopped off. So we get to Helgen and see the bastard called General Tullius is talking to the also bastard Thalmor, who hate the Stormcloaks because they are rebels, going for the Skyrim's freedom from the Thalmor and the Empire, which I bet you can guess who I sided with. So, on to the deboarding of the cart, where we see Hadvar, which he only really matters if you're an Imperial. But after we meet Hadvar, I made the best character ever, which I previously stated as named uniquest, a Nord with Stormcloak blue war paint and an average facial build, who is also old, but weirdly shredded. You'll later see after we get into the Helgen Keep how built he is. So, back to it. When we got out of character creation and watched another Stormcloak get his head chopped off, it was my turn. Then I was saved by a goddamn dragon named Alduin. And for the series, he is the target. He will die to uniquest's unique hands, but overall at the beginning he kinda saves me. But he also wants to kill all of Tamriel, so he deserves to die. So, I run up a tower with Ralof and then around Helgen with Hadvar. Then into the keep with my homeboy Ralof, just to leave him in the dust because it's not like I can fight anyways. So I kinda just run out of the keep as fast as I can, past Imperials, frostbite spiders, and even a bear, just so I can run to Riverwood, which is home to Gerdur, Ralof's sister, who tells me to go to the hold capital of Whiterun. Then she gives me a bunch of useless shit, other than the food, which is good. Even though I'm not in survival, the food can still help during some annoying fights later in this video. But I traveled by walk and swim to Whiterun so I can talk to Jarl Bolgrif and warn him on the tiny possible world-ending dragon problem. So Bolgrif sends a platoon of guards to the town of Riverwood and then asks me to talk to him and his court wizard Farengar about going to Bleakfall's Barrow. Now, I have been to Bleakfall's Barrow hundreds of times, but I realized I can't get through Bleakfall's Barrow on Master difficulty with no weapons or armor. Also, I forgot to mention this playthrough is on Master difficulty. So, yeah, I had to cook up a plan. So I planned, and this plan, in hindsight, did not work at all. So yeah, my plan at the time was to go get the alternative armor's iron plate, and then go for the greatsword / battle axe named Shadowrend. So first, I headed by cart to Windhelm, home of the Stormcloaks, and then traveled west on foot to the way of the Nightgate Inn, so I can start the quest Brothers in Irons, so I can get the iron plate armor. but I somehow went the wrong way. Instead of going west from Windhelm, I went southwest toward Whiterun. But I eventually got to the Nightgate Inn after some backtracking, and then reading the note and finding the journal, then just to go to Solitude from Windhelm by cart, and then walk into the Thalmor camp with the body of the guy who was wearing the alternative armor's iron plate set. And then after I stole the armor from his body and equipped it, I ran from the Thalmor guards guarding it. And then as soon as I got far enough away, I fast-traveled back to Windhelm, and then traveled south from Windhelm, so I can fight myself. But when I get there, I activate the fight, and this is when my plan is forced to change. And that is because I did not know that it does not give you Shadow Rend to fight yourself. So, I ran and replanned, and found out about the Woodsman's Friend, a very weak, unique iron battle axe. So to get the Woodsman's Friend, I fast-traveled to the Guardian Stones, which I proceeded, well, I already did at the point, but then I got the Warrior Stone, because it helps with warrior perks. And then I found this Necromancer, and next to the Necromancer, about 100 feet, there was the axe. So I picked up the axe, and then destroyed that Necromancer, which instantly brought me to level 2. Then I fast-traveled to the Atronach Stone, right next to where you fight yourself, and retried the fight, and died 2 or 3 times, and realized I am way too weak to kill myself, in this case. And no, YouTube, that is not me saying I'm suicidal, please don't restrict me. So, I went to Riverwood to travel to Bleak Falls Barrow, which then I somehow, 2 times in one video, went the wrong way. But then I corrected myself, making it up to Bleak Falls Barrow, where I fought the outside bandits and the inside bandits. Then, now this is where I have to make a confession. I cannot save a game to save my life. So when I proceeded to die to the massive spider multiple times and having to restart the dungeon, I looked like an idiot. I then proceeded to start saving once I realized what I was doing, and that helped me. I eventually killed the bastard spider and then Arvel the Swift. And then for the next hour, I went through the dungeon and got killed a bunch of times by Draugr until I used that spike trap wall to lure the Draugr in and then kill them. Now, that's when, after the fact, I stumbled to a restless Draugr. You may think that would be easy. They are pretty weak compared to, like, Draugr overlords. But, sir, madam, or person, you are quite very, 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 very wrong. I died to this bastard like 16 times and basically soft-locked myself with him next to a door. That's when I realized I could not do this dungeon without having either a higher level or better armor or weapons. So I loaded an old save just outside of Bleak Falls Barrow for the start of our next adventure, which is the second episode of the Skyrim Unique Only Challenge. Well, part 1 was fun, am I right? This is when I usually shamelessly plug my socials, so that's what I'm about to do. Like and subscribe, and also join my Discord server, the Skelly Squad, and follow me on Twitter at SkellyGaming0. Finally, the end video question. What is your favorite part of this video? Also, feel free to suggest unique weapons and armor for the next episode. And with that, it can be really anything. Alternative armor sets are easier to get than most other things. So, yeah. See y'all in the next episode. Bye-bye.